Hey everyone. So, I've been spending a lot of time at home lately. You might know what that feels like. And I was looking for something new to try. I didn't want to go shopping, but I felt like doing a little painting. And I heard somewhere that you can actually make some pretty cool artwork just using coffee. I know that might sound crazy, and I thought it sounded crazy too. So, of course, I had to try it. I grabbed the leftovers from my morning coffee and I realized that the coffee, like, right away, the colors were way too light. You see that page over on the left? That was my first attempt painting with the coffee, and it was too light. So over on the right is a value scale I made after I burned the coffee on the stove for a while. I just put it in a little pot, and I let it sit on really low for probably 15 minutes or so, and it made the coffee much darker. But now I had a problem where I couldn't actually have a really, really light value. So right now you see me adding a little bit of coffee back to water to make sure that I could have the lightest value to paint with. So that's what my lightest value is going to look like. It's actually going to be a little bit lighter because when it dries a lot lighter. And then this is what the burnt coffee looks like, just the first layer. That also is going to dry a little bit lighter, and what ends up happening is with this process is you have to be a little bit patient because it really takes a lot of layers, and you have to let the coffee dry in between each layer. So let me show you what I did. Was trying to figure out what to paint, and we had some leftover pizza from the night before. I tried photographing it from different angles. I thought I might want to put the Coke in there. I tried it from the side, from the top. I really liked this view, looking straight down with the wood grain. And then you can see I sort of cheated a little bit, and I used my phone to take that picture and turn it to black and white because, the coffee is technically going to paint this really nice sort of sepia brown color, but turning the photo to black and white is going to help me see where the different values are, um, so that I can try to copy them in my painting. So the next step is going to be to take a pencil and just really, really lightly sketch in the most important shapes. I started by tracing a circle because, my plate was just round. The slice of pizza is just going to be a big triangle, and I'm just going to block in the crust and some of those slices of pepperoni. So now I'm the artist here, and I do want to look at the photo to try to make things look as realistic as possible, but I don't really like the way the pepperoni was placed on the slice of pizza the first time around. So that's one thing I am going to take a little artistic license, and I'm going to sort of spread those pepperoni out, just a little bit different. So in my sketch, I just did the circle for the plate, the triangle for the pepperoni, and the triangle for the pizza, and just a few circles for pepperoni, and that's all I'm going to do with the pencil. And now it's going to be time to paint. I'm looking at that value scale to help me get started, and I'm just going to take the very lightest value and block in some big solid shapes of color. The only thing in that picture that is white is the dish, and even the dish isn't, it's not 100% white. So I'm going to go and block in the background. I'm going to do a nice little layer over the pizza. And now the really hard part is now I have to take a break and I have to let that dry. So I'm going to take a break. I will be right back and I'll show you the next step. So I'm looking at the photo again, and I'm trying to see how many different values I'm going to need to build up in there. So like I said, I started with the very lightest value. Now I'm going to add another layer of the coffee. And I noticed there on the dish, you can see a circle where there's some shadow on the dish. There is the outside of the pizza slice is going to be a little bit darker. So first thing I'm going to do is sort of block in where that shadow is for where the rim sort of meets the center of the dish. And then I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to look at the photo for little places where the value gets darker, and I'm going to take some time and I'm going to build up my second layer of values on my little pizza painting. All right, so that second layer has had a chance to dry. You can tell I did another layer all over the background. I thought that first layer was a little bit too light. I started adding some layers to the pepperoni and to the shadow on the crust. And so now I'm going to start my third layer. I'm always looking at that resource photo to try to differentiate all the different values that are going to end up being in this painting. So once again, I'm going to spend a little time looking for some dark spaces to add another layer, and I'll get back to you in a minute. All right, so right now you're looking at the results of about 5 layers of the coffee paint. It takes a lot of patience, like I said, because you have to let it dry between each layers if you really want to keep getting those values darker and darker. When this dries, there's a chance I might kind of go in one more time and add some more darks to it, but I did take quite a bit of time on that last layer to put in the wood grain and to keep adding some shadows around the plate and a little bit of shadows to the pepperoni. But for the most part, I had a really good time making this painting. I had never tried painting with coffee before, even though it's something that I have every single day. Um, and now I'm going to look at it a little bit differently. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do give it a try, I would love to see what you create. Happy creating. See ya.